Hi, accounting students. Today we're going to be looking at some of the adjustments which are frequently asked. And so I'm just going to run through another one just to make you more comfortable with doing the adjustments. And so today I'm going to be looking at salaries. Again, a frequently asked adjustment. So let's familiarize ourselves and see how we will deal with this. So you are given this information. Your gross salary, 25,000 Rand. You will remember that your gross salary is your salary before any deductions. My deductions, they're not telling me that they are deductions. They are expecting me to know that I've got PAYE of 4,700 Rand. And so I'm going to put that in brackets because I need to subtract that. UIF, we know, is 1% of the gross salary, and it will also need to be deducted. And so I'm putting it in brackets. Little reminder, why is it in brackets? We're subtracting. And so anything in accounting, when we are subtracting, is shown in brackets. And then the pension fund is 2,500, which is what they are deducting from my salary as my portion towards the pension fund. And so what are they asking me to calculate here? They're asking me to calculate the net salary. They may not even put in net salary, so that line could be omitted. But you are expected to know that your PAYE, your UIF, your pension fund, and of course you could have medical aid here as well as a pension fund, are needed to be deducted so that we can establish the net salary. I'm then given the additional information that the business contributes 2 Rand for every 1 Rand contributed by the employee with regard to the pension fund. What does that mean? That simply means for every 1 Rand which I contribute to my pension fund, my employer will contribute double. Why? Because 2 Rand is double 1 Rand. So let's have a look. Same slide. The only thing I'm doing here is I'm showing you the calculation. So my pension fund contribution was 2,500. Can you see I've brought it down there? And I'm going to multiply it by 2 because the business contributes 2 Rand for every 1 Rand that I contribute. And so 2,500 times 2 will give me 5,000 Rand. Press save button because we're going to move on to that just now. So how would I display this in my income statement and in my trade and other payable note? So let's have a look. So my gross salary is 25,000 Rand, and I'm going to add it to salaries in the income statement. So what will that look like? Under other operating expenses in my income statement, I'm going to have salaries. 250,000 Rand is the amount that was given in the pre-adjustment trial balance, plus this 25,000 Rand, which I was given as an adjustment, needs to be added to my salary expense. And so if I say 250,000 Rand plus 25,000 Rand, it will give me 275,000 Rand. And so as a business, I will be claiming 275,000 Rand as an expense to pay salaries. Now, let's have a look at what we're going to do with the rest of it. So we've said gross salary shown in the income statement. So I can almost delete that because I've handled it. Let's have a look. Can you see I've handled it in the income statement? There I've got my income statement. So let's go back to what we're going to show in our trade and other payable note. PAYE, 4,700. Okay, remember that the business cannot pay PAYE, which I'm sure you remember stands for pay as you earn, the business cannot contribute to that. That is a deduction from the employee's salary. UIF is 250 Rand. My pension fund, 2,500. Net salary, 17,500. And my net salary is going to become my amount creditors for salaries. And then just to come back, remember that 5,000 Rand for the pension fund. It's the 2,500, which is the deduction from the employee's salary, plus 2,500, which is the contribution by the employer. Shall I just revise contributions and deductions? Deductions is what the employer takes away from the employee's gross salary. A contribution is what the business adds on to the employee's gross salary. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. Trade and other payable, note number 9. I've got my 3 basics: trade creditors, accrued expenses, deferred income, and remember, deferred income can also be called income received in advance. And now I'm going to add the items applicable to salaries. So creditors for salaries, 17,550. Let's go back a slide. Can you see? Here is my net salary of 17,550. And so I take that to note number 9, creditors for salary, 17,550. PAYE, 4,700 Rand. And let's go back a slide. PAYE, 4,700 Rand. UIF, 250. There it is. And now the pension fund. Let's go back and have a look what we did here. Remember, we had 5,000 Rand because we said it was 2,500, which was the deduction, and 2,500 Rand, which was the contribution. So, can you see? I'm showing bracket work. People, please remember to put in your bracket work. There are marks allocated to the bracket work. So, for example, that would be a mark, that would be a mark, and this would be a method mark. Now, if you got that incorrect, you would not get the method mark unless one of those amounts is correct. And so I have taken the information from the adjustment for salaries and I have brought it into account in note number 9 and in my income statement. So let's have a look at what we need to learn from dealing with the adjustment for salaries. So gross salaries are added to salaries in the income statement. So that's all we do in the income statement. Add salaries to the amount given in the pre-adjustment trial balance. In note number 9, you need to learn what are we going to add. We're going to add creditors for salaries. And please note, here it is, net salary. Okay. I've then got my UIF, I've got my PAYE, I've got my pension fund or medical aid, and here I've got the deduction and the contribution. So from here down is added to the note trade and other payables. So homework, prescribed exercises, and please learn this. Guys, this is a frequently asked question. Become au fait with it, become comfortable with it, and you will find accounting is actually a lot of fun. So, bye for now.